All right, we are into November, and as you see, this assignment, assignment 6, which will be our full poster, which will have 4 components we are required to submit. We're halfway through it. It's going to be due next class. And then also next class, November 13th, we start our student presentations. So you want to get your topic and your link and pick a day and an order to present on either the 13th or the 18th. So to finish this project off, I need to find my files. And I have an assignment 6 folder, right? And then I'm going to find my most recent PSD file and open that up in Photopea, our freeware. I love that this is still available and it's not trying to sell me AI tools yet. Hopefully it won't, because that's kind of ruined vector.com a little bit. All right, so now this is what we have and this is what we need. First of all, you always check your image size. I haven't looked at this since Wednesday. We want it to be 20 by 16 inches, or 16 by 20 if it's taller than it is wide, by 300 pixels per inch. I have it at 350. I'm kind of flirting with really pushing my computer to work hard here. And blocking ads too. So that's right. This is going to be able to be printed the largest possible in our lab. And if you actually do it at 350, you can even print to the next scale standard, which is 18 by 24, which is larger than we can print in our lab. And you would still have enough resolution for it. But it doesn't really matter because all your most important components are going to be smart objects. So the first of those is your spot illustration. Remember, we brought that in as a PNG. It's its own smart object. And now the next is the vector type that we've been working on through last week. And I brought in the SVG file for that right here, dragged and dropped it on, and that comes in as a smart object. And the key is, with type, just like with line art for your spot illustration, just like your logo and colorizing it, you never want to rasterize it. You want to keep it as a smart object. Now that I have the type and I have my poster, like kind of that default background, now I can play with color variations on my type. And the way we do that is the same way we colored our logos. I'm going to make a duplicate of it. I've already posted my black type, right? So it looks like that. I could post it with the background as you see. I kind of like showing you that with the little screen grab so you can see how it's using the edges. But you could also post it with no background as a PNG, and that kind of works as just a sticker design, right? But it's not quite there yet because the letters aren't filled in where I need them filled in, and this is maybe a little simplistic. So I'll save this as a quick PNG with the background turned off. And I'll save it as my black text design. Now that it comes from a vector. That goes to downloads. Then I can move that into my assignment 6 folder, mark it as orange. And if I wanted to, I could post that into Canvas. Now my inspiration image has color type as well as black type, right? It's got some black type, but a lot of it's colored. Some of it's flat colored, some of it's gradated. But notice how even on this really kind of fancy type-based poster, there isn't a whole lot of extra going on with the type. The banners around it have strokes and have outlines, but the type itself is pretty basic. Maybe I want to follow that, but I tend to overdo it when I demo so you can see all of the different options you have. So here's just a PNG version of that black type. Either way you post it, as long as that black type is from a vector, an SVG file that's a smart object in Photopea, it works for me. All right, so what's next? We make a duplicate of it. We turn off the black behind. We turn on the backgrounds. And now I'm going to double click on it. Not on the name, not on the window, but on the gray part of the layer to get to layer styles. We've done this a few times before. It helps to go pretty large with your screen for this, because you want to give yourself enough space to see the layer style menu here and see the effect it has on your image here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just play with the really basic replacing the black with color. So then you have to click it, and then you have to click to select it to get the options for it. Now the color overlay Photopea default options are black, and it's already filled in with black. So if I want to change that, I have to click on this black and click a different color. Right? And this will matter a lot, right? What kind of big color do I want? I can even steal it from my illustration just by clicking on it. I think that's fairly effective, that kind of magenta. So how does that work? That works okay, but I don't want it for the I and the D, right? For the I and the D, I want those to be black to match the rest of my illustration. So what can I do? Well, I can actually just use my lasso, and from that vector layer, duplicate those. Now those will be rasterized, but they're rasterized from the vector layer, so they're at perfect resolution. And then I'm going to play with the effects, and I'm going to change the color overlay for that back to black. Or simply turn off the effect. That's why I love layer styles. You can just turn them off. Okay, now I want to color behind these. And I want to match what I use for my spot illustration, right? So I can actually do that really easily by opening up in Photopea. Here, let me save the progress on my work here. File, save. We'll update where I opened it from, which was in my assignment 6 folder right there. Right. So now if I go back to assignment 5 and I open up my PSD right here, I can go to Photopea and say File, Open. Or actually, I think an even easier way, honestly, is to open up another tab of Photopea and just drop it in. So now, when it comes to that lettering, you want to remember all your digital coloring. So many layers, I want to find the effect. So it's this gradient overlay. And I'm going to simply go to layer style and copy that effect. Okay, now I go here and I'm going to use my magic wand on my vector layer, select the inside of it, hold down Shift, select the inside, make a new layer that's behind this line art, just like we digitally colored, drop it in with my paint bucket, right? And now I'm going to right click, say layer style, paste the layer style. That should have worked. But it didn't. Okay, so let me try that again. I want this gradient overlay effect, because I believe that's what's giving me that soft edge gradient. Yes, on there. It said dissolve 98%, so I'm going to say layer style, copy. And then on this one, right click, layer style, paste. Bummer. Okay, so let's do it this way. I'll just open up that gradient overlay. And actually, I'm just going to do it this way. It's a little annoying, but I'm going to move this window out. And I'm going to drag and drop this layer in. That should have worked. Did it? Nope, it just duplicated. Okay, so I do have to do it all in the same instance of Photopea. I thought I could work between. So I'm just going to say File, Open, and I got to find my assignment 5. But luckily I'm pretty organized, and I want my full color PSD, but not the CMYK separated one. There it is. Now it opens in a tab next to it. And now, because they're in the same instance of Photopea, I should be able to, I'll just do it this way first to be safe. Move this layer from my spot illustration into here. And there it is. Strangely, well, what's interesting is it has the color overlay. Oh yeah, I think I did get the wrong layer. Yeah. Let's see where it was. Because I wanted the gradient. This is the one. All right, so I'm going to grab this layer, bring it over. Really, this is just to show you how you can move and copy layer style. So if I copy it there and then I apply it to this layer style paste, why won't it work? There we go. Okay. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Going nuts here. So here's layer 12. I want to move that to here. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm just going to reproduce it with my gradient overlay. So what I want to do, I'm really confusing myself trying to make it simple. Is I want to fill it with a gradient that matches this, right? So I go to gradient overlay and I click on the gradient bar, and this is where I can set those colors. And I'm just going to steal them right from what I already have. So the first color, I'm going to click here. Oh, it's reversed, so I'm going to click here. Come on. There we go. And you can see it. Okay, and then the other color, I'm going to click here. And you can see it. All right, now to get that kind of distorted, what's called a dissolve, I'm going to do a color overlay. This could work. Make it really bright, like that, maybe even a little brighter. Right? And then set it to dissolve, and then take it down. And now I just need to make that gradient stronger. So I go back to the gradient, and I'm going to heighten these. Just push them a little bit stronger until it looks right. Maybe warm it up a little. Yeah, it's getting closer. There we go. Okay, and then